Katelyn Lehman, welcome to Listening with Leaders. You are the co-founder of Quantum Clinic, and you're also the CEO, and the website for Quantum Clinic is quantumclinic.com. Am I correct about that?
That's all correct.
Great. Tell us your backstory.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, where do you want me to start, Doug?
At the beginning.
At the beginning, the very beginning?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Whatever you think is interesting. And you're more interested.
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm a starseed from the Pleiades.
There you go. Now you sound like my wife.
Well, listen, so I have a doctorate in clinical psychology, a PhD in clinical and multicultural community psychology. I've been working in Los Angeles County for the better part of 12 to 15 years. And, right before the pandemic, I had my first son,
Wow.
first child. And so after the pandemic, as I was beginning to ideate and start thinking about how to re-enter the workforce, I joined the Harvard Business Analytics program run over there through three of the schools, the School of Letters and Sciences, the School of Engineering, and the Harvard Business School. And I was really enjoying my time there, speaking with other leaders across industries. And, I started facilitating these groups that were essentially around deep listening to one another and holding space and presencing for one another. And it really, dawned on me at the time that, okay, nobody's going to do it but you, Kate. So I just put kind of what I was learning together and with a couple of evidence-based interventions and created what is now Quantum Clinic, a spa treatment for your DNA. And essentially we're combining, cutting edge resonance science that sort of sits at the intersection of physics and psychology to facilitate a deeply relaxing experience for people that allows them to tune in and reconnect with who they really are, and reset that nervous system. We're really working at the level of harmonizing and fine-tuning the nervous system here.
And how long's Quantum Clinic's been in existence?
We opened in January.
You're kidding me, it's brand new.
It's brand new. Yeah. So it's been a wild ride. Took about 1.5 years to get the facility built out. Operationally, everything's going great. And we're just working to increase brand awareness and, get the word out there about what our services are and how they can help people.
So what kind of clients would be interested in what you provide?
Yeah, that's a great question. We see the whole gamut. We've got people ranging in age demographics anywhere from their early 20s all the way up into their 80s. Folks tend to skew more towards those whose bodies are aging. This service, flotation therapy in particular, is really beneficial for anybody dealing with chronic pain. So any type of arthritis or workplace injury or just stress and tension in the neck and back and shoulders really benefits from being in a almost zero gravity like environment where all of the neuromuscular structure on the spine can really fully surrender. So we get a lot of folks dealing with chronic pain, people dealing with anxiety, depression, stress in general, really seem to benefit from this service. And then just folks looking for a fun date night activity too. We have couples spaces where you can come with your partner and try it out together. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. So how many people do you have on your team?
It's me and my business partner, and then we have a clinical staff of 4 and an operations staff of about, I want to see there's maybe 6 or 7 more. Yeah, so we're shift work.
How do you even conceptualize this kind of a project?
Yeah, well, again,
from your school in clinical psychology, you go to Harvard, you're talking to people, there's a bridge that's got to get crossed. What happened?
Well, I love burning bridges and building them at the same time. So, I just, look, when we talk about how to heal, right? What really is healing? We know that it's presence, it's surrender, it's relaxation, and it's working with shifting those inner experiences from stress into relaxation. So that's essentially, that's all we're doing, is facilitating that shift for people. But when it came time to sort of build the business and put together the component pieces, which include biofeedback training, flotation therapy with frequency healing, that's the experience in a nutshell, is those three things. Those existing evidence-based interventions, I just sort of put them together in a package. And then I wanted to develop our digital systems in a way that were, HIPAA compliant, that maintain sort of all of the standard legal and ethical practices that otherwise would apply in a psychology practice. Though we're not a licensed mental health provider, we are a registered national provider, and we're working towards being able to plug this type of intervention space into more of a systems. What's the word I'm looking for? It's escaping me. Being able to work with insurers, for instance, would be
you can get some people can have this covered.
Yeah, we think that would be great. But the way our medical system has been built is around a disease model, right? So insurers typically cover treatments if there's a medical necessity for treatment of a disease. And at Quantum Clinic, we really see ourselves as more of a preventative care model, that this is a service that benefits the whole mind, body, spirit, soul of every body.
Right.
And so we're not necessarily in the space of treatment, though there are benefits for symptom reduction across a variety of ailments.
You mentioned frequency treatment. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, sound and medicine are like the two oldest things. I think it's the Chinese character for sound. Medicine actually comes from the Chinese character for sound. So, and I think Einstein was famous for saying that the future medicine will be the medicine of frequency, right? So there actually has been an abundance of literature on this over the past, 20, 30, 40 years. And there are these databases that exist where practitioners such as myself can become conversant in the use of particular frequency protocols, can create custom frequency protocols. Here at Quantum Clinic, we focus on one standard protocol, which is specifically for stress reduction and relaxation. Then following those two sequences, it works to activate the subtle energetic system. So it's sort of like, if you can think about it imaginally, it sort of like helps to relax and bring in, and then it helps to waken up, right? So it brings you back up before you then are getting out over the duration of the hour. And people are loving it. We look forward to expanding our frequency protocols in the future for more specific targeted issues, like a protocol for pain management would be one that we're looking to potentially, but it's just,
the reason I ask is my wife is a sound healer.
Yeah. Yes. So all about this.
She's a licensed acupuncturist and a doctor of Chinese medicine.
Yes.
And so you said that just sort of, I wonder if that's.
Yeah. So traditional Chinese medicine and this type of paradigm actually have a lot in common, right? Whereas an acupuncturist is using, needles that are site specific to access the meridian system or the energetic system in the body. We're using sound in a way that is understood to be more of a generalized protocol for the whole system. But yeah, I have friends who are in that line of work, and, we have a lot to talk about at dinner parties.
So, what gets you really excited in the morning to get up and get moving?
Oh, my sweet little boy who's up before dawn. No, but I really, just today I worked a clinical shift, and I really love seeing the transformation in just 5 minutes with someone after we do the initial biofeedback meditation in the beginning of every service. People come in with a whole host of psychological, emotional burdens that we all carry around with us. And, people come into this space, they have an experience that reminds them of who they really are, which is a being of light. You are a cosmic event in a human body. And, so it awakens something in them, and witnessing that transformation over such a short period of time is really rewarding.
How well do the sessions stick? In other words, when somebody comes in and they go through this process and it sounds transformation, how well do they carry it into their lives?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a really great question. I'm so glad you asked it. We have some people who come here specifically like to deal with difficulty sleeping. Is one kind of common complaint that people have who come in to see us. And folks will say that they have that night, they sleep better than they've ever slept before. And that often it generalizes for 3 to 5 days after that. So, really kind of depends on the individual. If chronic pain, for instance, is not something that a Western medical model really sees as being curable. It's just kind of about like coping with the reality of that, especially for aging bodies. And so we like to say, come as frequently or infrequently as works for you and your body. And that seems to work for most people.
Oh, good. So what is it that's unique that you're bringing to the table here?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I think. Well, I'm the wizard behind the veil. Come on, Doug.
Something unique about Kate that she's bringing to the table.
Well, I think, look, you have a lot of CEOs who listen to this podcast. So I'll speak to like the juxtaposition or these synthesis of opposites that I've experienced in my career. As a community psychologist, we learn that change can only happen if it's grassroots. It has to come from the bottom, right? And then in business school, they say the exact opposite. Change in organizations has to be led from the top. So, I'm one of these people that's like,
paradox.
What is it? Is it the top or the bottom? Is it
It's both.
I like, and
No, it's both.
Yeah.
Change has to come from inside, outside, upside down, in all directions. And
right, exactly.
If you don't understand the paradox of that, that's when change fails.
Right.
Conflict.
Right, exactly. So here at Quantum Clinic, taking that example and bringing it into a little bit more concreteness, we're working with people both individually with the meditative practice and the heart-brain coherence, connecting that energetic center of their heart with their mind, which facilitates a shift in the brainwave states. And then we're also from the exterior playing that sound. So we're sort of doing this like dance between inside, outside in this work. And it's really quite powerful.
Heart-brain coherence. That sounds like the heart math people up in Santa Cruz.
That's exactly right. Yes. They're we love the Heart Math Institute. We sell their biofeedback sensors. Oh,
you got some of their stuff?
Yeah.
They've done some amazing work.
They really have. Oh, my hat's off to every single doctor and researcher and everybody who works for that organization.
I haven't followed them for some number of years, but for a long time I was studying subtle energy, and I was particularly interested in their work as it had to do with heart rhythm entrainment back and forth with two people sitting across from each other, because that's my work as a peacemaker.
Yeah, the social coherence piece.
That's right.
That's right.
I got really interested in that. I never really followed it up deeply with it, but it fascinated me that here's a whole nother level of human communication occurring at an energetic level.
Yep.
We're not even aware of.
Yeah. Well, and that's the big structural shift that we're hoping to bring people into people's awareness here through our work at Quantum Clinic, is that when you begin to experience yourself, not just as a talking head, right? But as an energetic being who is communicating constantly with the field of infinite information that connects us all.
Right.
You begin to witness a shift in not only in your self-concept, but self in relation to other people in the world, other places, and it's really quite profound and does align with all the, kind of wisdom traditions.
And it's so interesting. This stuff just keeps flowing into my life.
Good.
I call it in, but I have always been interested in subtle energy. I really got interested in it after I earned my secondary black belt in a Northern Chinese style. My teacher told me to go start studying Tai Chi.
Incredible.
And I learned how to manipulate Chi and then became a healer. And for a hardcore trial lawyer to go that far outside the paradigm is pretty incredible.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And so profound, right? So profound that you have the juxtaposition of those realities within yourself. Yeah. Cool.
I've seen things that modern science can't explain, but it can't be denied. And my conclusion is our science is too primitive to explain what we're witnessing.
Yeah, well, I would actually argue that modern science can, in fact, explain it, but the dominant scientific paradigm cannot.
Yeah, okay.
There is a difference.
I'll go with that. So I'm resonating with what you're talking about because I've experienced a lot of this stuff myself, and of course I'm married to an ascended master, and so what do you do? I live.
Thinker.
What we live is because we have to have quiet and peace around here and
right.
noise. So where do you think the future is going to take you?
Well, we'll see. This is again a very new business. We're excited to make this space a thriving community of practice. And we'll see. I often get asked if this is a franchise. Maybe. We'd love to see more quantum clinics around the country. But, it'll just kind of depend on where what wants to come through.
And what the universe will provide for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a pretty exciting time of your life right now.
Yeah, it is.
And your family supports you in the whole process.
Very much so.
That's good. They didn't think you were like crazy. How come you're not being a good little psychologist?
Well,
I got that a lot.
Oh, did you?
Oh, when I left the practice of law, people exploded.
Interesting.
I walked away from a $10 million law practice with 1 week's notice.
Good for you.
And I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And
yeah.
I mean, like I said, heads exploded. All over the state.
It's interesting. I'm actually the daughter of two clinical psychologists, transpersonal clinical psychologists up in the Bay Area, and they completely get what I'm doing here. Obviously, it challenges some standard notions about what is talk therapy and the utility of talk therapy versus work like this.
Energetic work, right?
Energetic work, but I think it's a misunderstanding to pigeonhole psychologists as people who only deal with cognitive, or affective issues. And there's lots of ways to practice as a professional psychologist, and we think that this is one. So it's interesting you asked that question. I have had a lot of change in my personal life lately, but it all seems to be working out for the best.
Well, it sounds really terrific. One more question, I'll let you go. What's one thing that we wouldn't know about you unless you revealed it to us?
Oh gosh. Well, I think I've already revealed it.
And that was?
That's my secret.
You come from a thief. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need to meet my wife.
I do. I would love to meet your wife.
Well, we'll leave it at that, and then we'll talk about that more in just a second. So thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciated the time. It was really fun.
It's my pleasure, Doug.
You're welcome.